Hello, we're back. That was loud and I intended. I thought about doing what I was supposed to do this afternoon, and I decided instead to do some more Wolfram Physics. Because it's got me thinking. Ooh, okay, let's get rid of that. So, you if you want, are working through this document. What do I want? I know what I'm doing. That and that. So, to anyone who's just picking this up now, the creator of Wolfram Alpha and Wolfram Mathematica has published what he thinks to be the foundations for a new theory of physics, and he might be right. So we're going to just work through some of this piece by piece to get there. Now, yesterday I actually came across something where I wasn't sure if I was way off or they were way off. About, here we go, in one of the chapters, in chapter 2.7, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting to there to ask some questions about it. I'm just going to see if there's any more responses to what I wrote. In fact, I don't think, we haven't got anyone in the chat yet, so I'm going to be, can I edit it? Sorry, that's not content. So I'm going to kind of go through this again from scratch, give or take. And I can be over here. Cool. I'd rather be over here. I like it over here. Let's go there. So let's go back through section 2, because that's where we first start getting to do some of these rules. And I want to check, let's also, let's have it in white. I want to check that I fully understand everything. So I'm very happy with this graph being this selection. Order is irrelevant. Oops. Maybe I should be using a highlighter. Order is irrelevant. Even that's not great, is it? Maybe I should be using a yellow highlighter. Order in which the elements appear within each relation is significant. So that's basically, the arrows are significant. This is 1 going to 2, not vice versa. The labels are arbitrary as long as the orders are correct. So, now we start pulling in some rules. So xy goes to xy, yz. So using numbers 0 to 1 goes to 0 to 1 to 2. Then 0 to 1 can again be extended to 3 and to 4. Oh yeah, they actually use, oh that's what's changing that. Fine. They order from 1, which is insane, but okay. But yeah. So what this is, my understanding of this, and I should probably be really careful that I'm absolutely getting it. Is any element which satisfies this description, and this description is just some element goes to another element. So the starting position, you'll never get, for example, from this setup, this graph. You won't build it from any conditions. But we could still apply it here. And if we applied it, out of every x to y, we just grow another arm, basically. So 4, 5, 6. I'm starting to think about these as actual, the kind of operation you do out of them. Imagine this was 2 points connected by like an elastic rubber band, and effectively we're pulling another point off this. It's this operation. It's just a add 1 operation. I like dark mode better. Do I? Is it too dark? It's a bit too dark. So we move up through the layers and we start to get something kind of beautiful, which can be rearranged into a way that makes sense, where we are just branching and branching and branching, effectively making a copy of what we had before each time. There's the first element, but once we've got this, we attach a copy. Then we take the whole thing and we attach a copy. Then we take the whole thing and we attach a copy. And you get it. It's about copying. So now we'll change the rule up. Now we can have a rule that does something slightly different. Now it takes xy and it actually reverses the order. And I think, I can't tell if these arrows are different colours. So each time we're back and forth and back and forth, and we're kind of doing, if we look at the long-term pattern, we see some of the same very rough structure. Like you could look at this and be like, okay, we're kind of having the same thing going in both directions, but it's not so easy to picture. We can also have loops, and a loop satisfies the rule because like this is x going to y, where both x and y are the same element. Loops took me a little while to get my head around, so let's actually work through some. So if we do the rule from before, then it's just flipping order and making a loop. x to x goes to x to y. So it goes to y to y, and x to y. So we add it, if we have a loop, this is saying, if you have a loop, then pull 2 loops out of it. The parity of these arrows don't matter. So in fact we can, for the first few steps, we can colour these. And then the next one would be, we have not 1 loop but 2 here, so we take that one and we're going to pull 2 loops out of it again. Now, so I played about with these yesterday afternoon, and I plan on trying to find some time to play about with them. And I started to see that you can kind of represent them in your head as weaving patterns, the sort of instructions on what to do next. So here we're doing the exercise of pulling 2 loops out again and again and again. This particular thing gives us a branching tree, because from every time we do it, we get 2 more loops. Therefore, next time we pull 2 more loops out, we have multi-edges where we can have multiple of the same shape. So I like, when I'm doing these things, and I have already worked through this once, I like going through and just deriving everything I can find to derive, basically. So if we start with, start with a loop, we go to, I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to try and remember to do my drawings over on this side because I've got a bit more space. And we go to, well, what's the rule? X, Y goes to X to Z, and Y to Z. So, going from this one to a new thing. Go there twice. And we also go from the old thing there again. So in this case, because both X and Y are this one, it's all 3 of these. Now, do we have an X to Y here? Yeah, we do. We've got 3. So the first one, X to Y goes to X to Z, so it's going to go to some new node twice, and that new node is going to go to the old node. I'm going to do this again. New node, old node, and then one last time, take it through the middle, going to do this again, new node, old node. So do we get that? Yes, we do. And then they make this claim, and I didn't work for this before, that we get 3n edges and this many nodes. So for each, because this rule only requires a thing going between 2 things, it doesn't require them to be the same, but it can still act on them if they're the same. Every edge is going to produce 3 edges. So, yep, we will indeed get 3 to the n. We started with 1, 3, inductively up, 9, 27, 81. The next thing that you get when you multiply by 3. Number of nodes is more interesting, because for each edge, we are going to create one new node. So before we had, each time we had 3n edges, leads to add 3n nodes. So in fact that's step 0. We start with edges, nodes. We start with one edge, one node. Step 1, 3 edges, 2 nodes. Step n, 3n edges, n plus 1. No, so 3 to the n edges. 3 to the n plus 1. That's the one that should be n plus 1. So what about this? Well, we're adding the old one, so we're adding old number, which I'm just going to call x at the moment, plus 3 to the n minus 1. X naught, x naught equals 1, x1 equals, well, they're kind of, no, x naught actually equals, x naught is not well defined. X1 equals 1, x2 equals x1 plus 3 to the n minus 1. You want so xn is 1 plus sum of j of 3 to the n minus 3 to the j minus 1. Sometimes you get to this point in a proof and you're like, I believe it. I don't think I can pick up and move something here, so I've slightly run myself out of space. You know what, this is really lazy of me. I'm going to leave that as an exercise for the reader. If you're watching this along at home, be warned, I'll probably do that a few times because I don't want to get really bogged down in the maths. It probably is only one step or two beyond what we're thinking of. So rules can create and destroy multi-edges. Here we've obviously got one creating it. Here we've got one that destroys them. And what's this operation like? X, Y, and then we kind of schnook a new thing out of the Y and that new thing comes with a W. So I'm thinking about this as, imagine that actually what we're seeing if we look from the side is we've got pin. I'm just going to draw it as a little cone, a pin, and it's got a piece of string attached to it, even a piece of tape, and that piece of tape is pointed over here, and over here we've got a stack of 2 pins, and they're also attached by a piece of tape. And so when we pull this one out, we pull the bottom pin away. So because these 2 pins are on top of each other, we couldn't see them, we couldn't see the tape, but now we can, and that's forming that, that's forming that. And in the act of pulling it out, we need a 3rd pin. This is the one we actually kind of pull on. Okay, I'm going to try and draw this more in more detail, because I think this is a worthwhile way of thinking about it, at least at this point. It might turn out not to be that useful. Rather than the pin, I'm just going to do discs. So this disc is the X. We've got a stack of discs here. This whole pile looks like Y, but and everything in this pile is attached, and the order in which it's attached is actually draw little arrows for when we can't see it. Actually looks like this, and then what happens is we pull on, because you can't see them, Z and W are here, we pull on W, we pull it out. So there's a hidden step we don't see, where we've got Y and it's attached to Z. Let's make that a little bit clearer. So we still don't see Z. This attachment is still here. This goes to Z. But we've now pulled W all the way out. This is Y. But if we keep pulling, we'll start moving Z as well. This is X. And then, so I'm thinking of each of these as kind of elastic bands. Let's leave. So now we've actually pulled Z out from under the stack as well. X goes to Z, which and obviously we're still pulling on W. And we get to this formation. So the thing that's interesting to me is seeing which of these we can represent as this kind of understandable act. Because then what we'll do again is we'll do exactly the same thing to each of the things in this. We'll keep on doing this pulling out. So the next one by this metric still have X. It will now go to a new thing we've pulled out, which will go to the thing that we've actually pulled on, which goes to, so this is Z, this is X. I'm not going to bother labeling these new ones. Same with Y. Y now goes to a new thing we've pulled out, which goes to the thing that we were pulling on. And then finally we've got the same with Z to W, which goes to a new thing we've pulled out, which is also pulled away from W by a new thing. Notice that I could actually draw this another way around. I think it's nice looking for the most harmonious forms of these. And at each step, we can, I think, lose the labels. We can see this as, I think they go out, right? You can see this is kind of a wheel. Is that going to make sense in the next step? It's hard to tell. I don't think I can type these into... Can I type these into Wolfram Alpha yet? I don't think I can. And I don't have Mathematica set up on this computer. So for the moment, we will never know. We can also have rules about hyperedges. I'm going to skip over hyperedges for the moment. This one was the one that confused the hell out of me, because I'll walk you through the way I was kind of seeing it. So let's say we start with this situation. We start with X, Y, Z. In this one, if we actually go to the kind of side view of this is 2 counters. The bottom one is the one which X is touching, and then the top one is linked to the bottom one. And then we are going to pull out the bottom one, which will give us top one, still linked to the bottom one that we pulled out. Go to this one. And we're still going up here. And also, to make this work, we need Y to have been 2 counters, one of which has X coming to it, the other goes to that one, and then we pick up the top one, we move it and we place it on top of here. So we get this shape. All good so far. And these shapes, we can move them around. Like, we could swap the direction of this and we would have the same shape, because there's no orientation to the whole system. So now we've got this shape, which I'm going to draw the way I like, because I like drawing it like that. And we've still got this rule. I think there's only one place we can do this rule, and that's to do it to this one. So I would see, by that method, what are we going to do? We're going to do the intermediate steps. We're going to pull one out of this, giving this. And then we're also going to pull one out of this and link it on there, giving it's always my instinct to try and find intermediate working steps because you can test your intuition at each one. We also pull it out and put it on top of there, and we've got that. And every time I do this, I get something that doesn't look like this, and I'm really confused. But apparently it's because I'm doing the rules in the wrong order. Oh yeah, if you were watching this thinking like, oh yeah, I can trust him, he's teaching me how to... No, I'm still working that out. Who knows, man? So I guess what's interesting is that the order of the rules here suggests that maybe, like what I'm talking about is kind of doing it from ZW. The first thing I do is I pull something out from Z. This is Z. And I pull out the new thing, W. Nope, sorry, this is Z. And I pull out the new thing, W, from it. But what if I try and do it really sticking to that order? So I've got X, Y, W, Z. So the first thing I should do is keep X stuck to Y. Great. Don't even need to change anything. In fact, because I don't need to change anything, I'm not even going to draw that wall. Then I need to stick X to the new thing. Still stuck to Y. The new thing isn't yet stuck to anything. Then I need to stick Y to the new thing. Still attached to X, all stuck together. And then I need to attach Z to the new thing. I still get this. What? So the whole point of this chapter is that this can be done in multiple ways, but I'm still struggling to see how it can be done in the other way. Wait, did I definitely have? Yeah, I keep getting it linked across the middle. What's going on? So I did check at one point, I suggested that maybe the rule that they meant to write was I think this page is maybe not fully written. I suggested that maybe the rule they meant to write was this. Which would give this language Z, Y, X goes to Z, X, W, Z to Y, which then doing this again will give x to z, x to a new thing, which we'll call v, z to that new thing, the old thing to that new thing, z still goes over here, and then this attaches still to y. No, that's still not right. So somebody sent me this you get to see my full name and affiliation. So that's what I get. I did suggest this change. Apparently it could go to one of two different places, so somehow we can get from here to here. Where we've maybe left this one. We've pulled the new thing out of here. New thing's still attached to here. Is that the one we keep getting? That's getting this one. So how do we get to the other one? We pull the new thing out of here, which means that the new thing pops out of it. This now goes to it, goes to here, this still goes to there, this goes this way, and this comes in here, and we indeed have that one. So what I'm struggling with is that it feels like we can relabel W, Y to W, X to W, X to Y. So that would suggest, I just want to, it's always possible, X, Y, Z. So what are we going to do? We're going to take Z and go to W. We're going to take Y, go to W. We're going to take X and go to W, and X still goes to Y. And then if we do it again, this is our new one, W. We're going to do it from here, and we're going to, this is going to be the same, this is going to be the same, this is going to be the same. It's just here we're changing X, so new one, which we'll call V, Y goes to it, X goes to it, X goes to Y. that's not what we've got here. So let's try it again with numbers. Got 1 to 2 and to 3. One is eventually going to go to 2, so let's just do that now. 3 is going to go to 4. 1 is going to go to 4. 2 is going to go to 4. And then 3 is still going to go to 4. 2 is still going to go to 4. So now this is presumably Z. This is going to go to 5. Y is going to go to 5. Okay. So what these two options are different setups for, does it go to here? Or does it go to here? So if we draw those out just in full, what we've got in the blue case is 1 from 2 to 5. 2 goes this way to 5 to 4. And we've got in this one, the pink one, is 3 to 5. 2 comes down to 5. You get that. So it's which one of these which way round we attach this. Cool. That at least gives me a better idea of what's going on. I'm going to just stick this on a whiteboard for a sec. Everything will disappear. Let's get rid of the whiteboard. And oh god, I can't. This is an insane way to do this, but let's just stick it here so that I can put it here. That's pretty not a good idea to, oh, I never know what's a good idea to do on stream or not. I can do it this way. So it's whether in this state it's just the event ordering function which changes. Same function. Just want to check this one last time. So 1, 2, 3. Swap those round so we can call this 3, 2. 3 goes to 4. 1 goes to 4. 1 goes to 2. 2 goes to 4. Then in this is x. If it's x, y, z, then 3 is still there, going to 4. 4 goes to 5. 2, which is y, goes to 5. This connection is still there. X, which is 1, goes to W. Then X goes to Y. Okay, so this is the one that's being taken as Y at this point. I think we're just further ahead in the I'm so confused by this. I can't tell if I'm being really foolish or not. Is it blue? Don't know. Okay, let's keep going. So this whole section is about how there can be multiple different ways of interpreting these rules. And so what's the rule for the direction we interpret it in? our purposes at this point, we will take each step to be what is obtained by scanning the configuration of the system and finding the largest number of non-overlapping updates that can be made. So, all it is a choice of, at this last step, which one we think of as y, and that is completely arbitrary. But why should that be the choice made? This is what I spent all of yesterday thinking about, and I'm going to spend all of today thinking about it too. I expect to work through this quite slowly. I know I keep saying that, but I'm always just... If anyone comes across this and it's like, oh, let's get to the good stuff as quick as possible, I'm probably not your person for that. So these things can also die off. I'm not going to look at this for a moment. I'm going to skip to section 3 because it's always... It's surprisingly difficult to be wrong. And it makes you feel kind of crappy if you've been taught your whole life that you should be right, which learning physics is very much how you do, are taught. So I'm unreasonably annoyed, basically. Don't worry, I'm not actually too annoyed. Doesn't matter. But I'm Steve. Okay, let's start looking at some typical behaviours. So I got this far yesterday. So this one, let's just draw whatever rule comes along, basically. So we're going for, is this our favourite? Is this the one that we've just been working on this whole time? Go from this to x to y, x to w, y to w, z to w. Yeah, same one. In this one, we're going from a to b, and it's a hypersurface. And some C to D, ugh, awful. So there's 1 3 and 1 2, and it goes to 2 3s and 2 2s. Okay, two of 2s go to 4 2s. So the subscript is it's number with the particular length. 2 things of length 2. Okay, now we're getting into something more complicated. Given a particular signature, so wait, the signature is the thing that I just wrote down, right? Yeah. The signature is this whole thing. So is this saying that this encapsulates all possibilities where we've got A, B, C, D goes to E, F, G, H, and then we can start doubling some up, so A, C, D, F, G, H. Let's go through the twos first, that's easiest. So A, B, so we're going to do the 1, 1, 2 to 1, 2. A, B goes to C, D. We've also got A goes to C, D. We've got A, B goes to C, C. A goes to C, C. Let's leave it that way. So these are all the ones, let's call them the non-connected. We've also got AB goes to BC. Order now matters, so AB goes to C, B is a different one. AA goes to CA. That's 4 of those. That is one, I believe 4. 4 of those. I'm just going to write all of these and start looking for some symmetries. We've got AB goes to BB. AA goes to, oh yeah, also AA goes to AC, and nope. B goes to BB. AB goes to AA. I could have written that as BA goes to BB. That seems more in line with how we're writing these other ones, so let's do it that way. BA goes to BB. Got another 6 there, and then finally AA goes to AA. So I can split these into, and this is maybe not a good split, singly connected, double connected, and maybe that's double connected as well. Whatever happens, we counted up all 11. Those are the whole 11 possibilities. Let's draw them all out. Yeah, it's that kind of stream. So, AB, I'm going to struggle to draw curly brackets on here, so I'm just going to do straight. Goes to CD is 0, 1. Can use big arrows for transitions. Goes to 2, 3. AB goes to CC is 0 goes to 1, goes to 2 to itself. AA goes to CD is 0 to itself, goes to 1 to 2. And last one, AA goes to CC is 0 to itself, goes to 1 to itself. Now we may as well do the most connected one. AA goes to AA, which is actually an identity, but it's still a valid rule. Which is going to be the case whenever there's the same number on these sides, that we can have this. AB goes to AA is 0 to 1, goes to 0 to itself. Can we fit one more down here? AA goes to AB, 0 to itself, goes to 0 to 1. It's an ugly arrow. Let's fix that arrow. Arguably not better, but fine. It will do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's start. AB goes to AC. 0 to 1 goes to 0 to 2. AB goes to CA. It's just the same, but now the order is reversed on the other side. 2 to 0. How many did I say? 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. There's only 4 on this side, just about make it. It's just the B versions of these. AB goes to BC, 0 to 1, goes to 1 to 2. And then finally, AB goes to CB, 0 to 1, goes to 2 to 1. Cool. So that's that one done. Let's not do any others. No, let's think about it. Like, we're not going to do any others right in that detail, but can we work out why 2 to 2 to 1 to 2 is 64? So 2 to two twos is A, B, C, D. Can I try and draw that neater? B, C, D goes to E, F. So there's no, I can't really see the way to kind of count up through them yet. Let's carry on and see what we get to. If one ignores connectivity constraints, there's a lot in this document so far that I don't think has been explained by the time that I'm reading it. Maybe I'm reading through it in the wrong order, but it's only making life harder. What are you going to do? I also don't know what a bell number is. Oh, that's interesting. How many distinct elements occur? Why can't one occur? So I'm just going to add up the top numbers and the bottom numbers. So this would be 4 and 4. This would be 5 and 4. 6 and 4. 6 and 4. Pretty much the same distribution here. Seven, 4, 4, 6, 3, 6. I'm not seeing any real pattern here. 5, 6. Maybe some sum of these two is roughly where the sum of these 2 over 2 is roughly where the peak is. 4, 4.5, 5. 5, 5.5, at 5, at 4.5, at 5.5. It's okay. It's nothing to write home about. The number of features of rules that are important when using them in our models. The arity must be matched. We've got to be creating lines. Still, we still won't necessarily create new ones if we do it that way, but it's a condition. We've never been introduced to this kind of rule, but we're having it now. Cases where a large number of inequivalent rules are possible, it would be often be convenient to do random sampling. I think this book was written quickly, and I don't know, maybe I'm just a bad workman blaming my tools. I feel like I'm being shown a bunch of concepts in a weird order. Who am I to speak ill of the devil? It's wearing me out though. I'm aged. I'm old now. I moved the various things about the stream about. It's honestly looking a lot better now. Possible inequivalent. What does inequivalent mean? What do these words mean, Stephen? What does this mean? What about 1, 2? Your boy, 1. Oh. Okay, yes, sorry. I was parsing that sentence poorly. Makes sense. It's hard to see, but we're just flipping around the signs effectively. Interesting that in a way 1, 3 is smaller than 1, 2. Because if we look for these, no, actually that makes sense. 1, 3 has 3 elements. 2, 2 has 4 elements. Ignoring ordering, so ignoring sign in the way that I just put it. These are all of the 2, 3 initial conditions. Eight, 32 of them have 3, 2. So if we have 3 rules, so let's try them. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 is a triple loop. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2 is. Way to draw a triple loop. Is a double loop that then goes somewhere. We also get the opposite, which is changing sign. So we're at 3. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2 is loop. And the out and back. Actually in this one they're both this way, but they could go either way. 2, 1, 2, 1, or both 2, 1. So we're on 7. There's everything goes to everything. Two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 2, 1, 2, 1, and all of them 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I get that 8. We're on 15. Doing well. What's the most elements we can have here? It's 3, isn't it? No, it's 4. So 1, got 2 of these, we've got 3 of these, and we've got 8 of these. And we've got 1 of these. Let's put a line up the middle. Out. Then what are we going to get next? Oh wait, I'm not sure that we do get all of these because I don't think anything makes. I think we only get 4 of these. Sorry, because everything else is just a relabeling of 1 and 2. For example, this one is this one if we swap 1 and 2. We don't have 15 anymore, we have 11. So we've got the same 2 loops here. We've picked up an extra loop here because now this has sign so that this one is not equivalent to the both going the other way. This is a whole new shape that we couldn't have before. And we've basically got all of them go that one way. Oh wait, no. I think we've only got 3 of these. And it's basically 3 of them go in that direction, 2 of them go in that direction, and 1 of them goes in that direction. So that's 2, 1. Every time I start an exercise like this, I'm like, is it going to be interesting? Am I going to learn stuff as I go? And then almost always I do. So 3 of these, putting this to 10. 26 to go. Okay. Now let's start having these guys. So again, we've got kind of the thing from before, but these have parity. I think we're going to have 6. These can both go one way and this goes down, these can both go the other way and this goes down, or one can go each way and this goes down, and then the same with up. So we've got 6 more, taking us to 16. We could instead do a loop on the end. They could both go away from the loop, they could both go towards the loop, they could both point towards this one, or they could both point away from this one. I think that's 4, taking us to 20. The chances of us actually hitting 36 are low. We could have the ones where everything is connected. If it's not clear, these double-ended triangles are so they can kind of think through all the directions. So it can be all going around in one direction. It can be 2 going one way and 1 going the other. I think that's it. I think it's just 2 more. Okay, and now we get to sequences of 4. I'll go. One, 2, 3, 4. So they can all go in one direction. One of them can be turned round. So let's imagine that they're all going this way. We could turn one around and we could put it in any of these 3 places. And we have a different thing. If we turn 2 around, do we just get the same back out? So let's say we've got this, bum, bum, bum. That's not the same as this here. Because here we don't have any ordering, here we do have ordering. So how many different ways are there that we can turn 2 around? There's 1, 2, 3. So it looks like another 6, bringing us to 28. We're 8 too low. one more we can have, which we haven't looked at, which is this, where this is a loop, which they can both be pointing towards, they can both be pointing away from, or one can be pointing away from, so that's 3 more, bringing us to 31. There's a loop on both ends. Just going to put in 2 more, pointing left or pointing right, bringing us to 33. Let's just draw the whole thing out. We're just missing 3. What about 2? Separate things. Do they have to be a single graph? So if we have 3 loops, we have these 2 options. If we have 3 loops, we have 1 option. There's only one way to do 3 loops. If we have 2 loops, we have 2 options on where we put the loops, and 2. So 3 loops is just 1 option. Oops. Orientations and signs. If we have 2 loops, we have 2 orientations and 2 signs for each of those orientations. So we get 4 if we have 1 loop. We've got 1 orientation here, 1 orientation here, 1 orientation here. Do we have 3 orientations? This one has 3 sign changes. This one has 4 sign changes. So wait, the 4 sign changes here are both away, that one towards, or both towards. They are all different. The 3 sign changes here are both away, both towards, or one away, one towards. The 3 sign changes here are both away, both towards, or one towards, one away. So this has more than these, but it adds up to a total of 10. You either have 3 or 4. Why am I putting full stops after these? Okay, then without loops, we've got a lot of options. So we've done loop, 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 loop. I'm missing out on things here, because if I have all of them going in one direction, then I switch, so two of them go in one direction, one goes in the other direction. I don't think I can make any others. Here, both go away, both go to woods. Either direction, swap the sign. So there really are 6 from that. Here, all 3 go in one direction. 2 go in one direction, or 1 goes in one direction, so there are only 3 here. These all have loops. So we've got 15, so we need 21. 9, 11, this apparently has 6. Am I going to be down one even on what I had before? That'd be annoying. What's happened? So I've got 2 3s and a 4 from one loop. A 3 from this one, both towards, both away, one away. A 3 from this one, a 4 from this one. That does that up to 10, 15. So my remaining things are. No, that's a bad idea. Even though this is getting busy, let's keep it with it. 3, 3, 6, 2. 6 plus 6 is 12. Plus 3 is 15. Plus 2 is 17. 27. 31. 32. Did I just add up some numbers wrong at some point? Yes, I did. This running total has been wrong from there. Okay, so it's still short, so I still must be missing one network configuration. Working it out, unless I'm wrong about these numbers. So let's check them. I'm pretty confident with that 3. Boop. 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 And that we've already had, because that's just that flipped. So FBI certified. 6. I did just work it out. I trust the thing I worked out. I think I'm just missing one. This 2, I believe. And this 6, do I definitely believe. All in one direction, 1 off, 1 off, 1 off, 2 off, 2 off, 2 off. No, wait, I'm not sure I do believe this anymore, No, I do. Because this is not equivalent to this. Because this has a divergence and this has a convergence. But there are 7 models here, not 6. So that's 18. So we are still only missing 3. Just to check, it's definitely 36. No, it's 32. Oh. It's 32. How many have I got? 5, 15. Are there 6 here and I'm being stupid? Yes, because this one is the same as this one. There are 32 of them and we found all of them. Let's get rid of this before we just see another mistake. Cool. So it works. Do we want to do 1-3s? I don't even have a way of drawing when they're more than 3. Okay, yep, so it can't be less than that. We need to guarantee that a rule will be able to apply to initial conditions is to make the initial conditions in effect to be a copy of the left hand side of the rule. Yep, that makes sense. So that's just for each one, make another one. That's 8 just displayed in a way that seems kind of off. I guess displaying factors of 2 only works well when they're also a factor of 4. Okay, so for every loop we send something to it, send something new to it, and we can copy that loop. So this is just add an arm each time. The loop remains. All those arms are pointing outwards in this particular one. For every loop we send it to a new thing, and that new thing is the new thing. We're just going to make a line, aren't we? Yep. So we're always starting with 1-1 here. That's what we mean by we're in a single unary relation. 16 possible rules after 4 steps. Isn't this just 4? What? How is a circle different from a loop? Oh, because that's just x. X is. So x's goes to x's 2 times and x to itself. Presumably there's one which is just... Oh, because it's got to have a 2-1 relationship. So if we apply it 4 times first time we've got 2 and 1, the next time we'll have so we have 0, we have 1, we have 2, we have 4, no? How many do we have? I'm finding it hard to tell. We just have a lot. So this is... Wait, how is this a rule? These are too small to see, Mr. Wolfram. But these are all of the possible 1, 2, 2, 1s. So some of them just create a lot of copies, some of them create a bunch of lines, some of them create something that looks real. This is that binary splitter expressed in a different way that we had before, because now it's expressed in, there's 2 nodes at the end of each branch, and then for each node you make a new branch. Many of these are disconnected hypergraphs. Wow, that's what you get with that? That's very Mandelbrot, isn't it? This is just a quaternary graph. We always have that first step, which is ugly. No, sorry, a trinary graph. So it splits 3 times at each one. Let's just look up the Mandelbrot set quickly to see how similar that does look to that. Pretty similar, not 100%. "73 1 2 2 2 rules. None give you structures more complex than trees." Oh, the heck? Why? How does this give a disconnected result? X, Y. It goes to X, Z. Z, X. Goes to because it does this. It's a double doubler. It's presumably that one. Interesting. Why didn't you circlified that? That's a nice one. It's also pretty Mandelbrot looking. I think I might be at my limit for today. So I'm going to leave the stream there. Thank you for joining. I'll be back doing this over the next few days, and weeks, and probably months.